I've been dealing with so much the last year since opening the gym. I just recently got diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. I have rheumatoid arthritis, which basically is your immune system attacking your own joints. I don't want to be at the end of my life being like, damn, I really wish that I did all of those things. Women need a safe space in the fitness industry. All the women who want to show up for themselves and take care of their mental, physical health, whatever reason they may be in the gym, I want to have that space for them.
Welcome to another episode of the FoundersPath. Today I'm here with Berkley McQueen, the owner of BFitness. First of all, I want to congratulate you on winning an award last week.
Thank you.
Do you want to stick with 20 under 20 or?
Yeah, maybe 20 under 30. I think that would be more believable,
Okay,
right?
sounds good. Okay. So again, I want to congratulate you on the tremendous growth that you've had over the last few years.
Thank you.
So tell us about how'd you get your start?
Oh, okay. So in September 2023, we were on Facebook Marketplace. We saw a commercial unit at the end of our street, and I was like, oh, this unit is at the end of our street. And I was intrigued by it, but we kind of just brushed it off. And then it popped up a couple days later, and my husband was like, why don't we just go look at it? And I was like, all right. And we had never had the plans of I've thought about it obviously, but I've never actually sat down and planned opening up my own studio. I actually have even brushed it off before. I'm like, no, that's not my goal.
Yeah.
And it was true at the time. And then we went and looked at it. It's a 600 square foot space, and there was a tattoo parlor that was in there. So his stuff was everywhere, literally everywhere. So when you have a small space and then you have so much stuff in it that it makes it seem even smaller. I was like, there's no way we could put a little personal training studio in there. Yeah. And then we ended up leaving. We went to my son's soccer game, and my dad was there. So we kind of just were talking about it, and they could see the wheels spinning. And then they were just like, why don't we just do it? And we literally texted her and we're like, yeah, we want to take the space. And then she was like, okay, come sign the papers when you're done. I was like, okay. So we literally saw the space, went to soccer, and then signed the papers and paid within a 2-hour period. And we just went for it.
So to give people a little bit of context, so you're a personal trainer. So that's what you were wanting to do with the studio. Basically open up your own training.
Yeah. Essentially it was a space for me to work out of. I mean, it would have been nice to obviously offer open gym and classes, but the space is so small you can't really offer that. So essentially, yes, that's that was the plan, was to go in to do my clients.
Yeah.
And just have a place that's my own to train them out of. Yeah. Essentially, cool. Yeah.
What would you say the biggest struggle was when you were starting your journey?
I think figuring out how to do everything from the business perspective, because I have no business background. And I think the financial aspect of it would be the hardest, just because my husband was on paternity leave with the twins. So we weren't making as much money, and obviously I just had the twins. So I did end up going back to work pretty quickly. But my clientele needed to be built back up. So we didn't have the financial means at that time to open up the studio. Yeah. So I would say the financial aspect, and then just kind of figuring out the business side of it, kind of as you went, and trial and error and what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah, that makes sense. What was the best advice at the time that you got? Was there anything that kind of stuck out to you?
The best advice, I think it's kind of funny, but you have to spend money to make money. And I know people say that, but it's honestly true, because I know a lot of people will not start a business because they don't have the financial means or whatever it may be, but or how expensive it could be to, with startup costs and stuff. Yeah. But it's honestly true. You really do have to spend money in order to make money. And I think that's a part of the process, and something you kind of I had to learn. I try to be smart with how I spent the money, but we did have to spend a good chunk of money to start the business and get it going to the way that you wanted to. So yeah, you gotta spend money to make money.
So if someone is starting off in your industry specifically, what would you tell them are the most important things to focus on early on? And just in general, as a business owner, what would be advice that you'd give?
Okay, so if someone was trying to get into personal training, first get your certification. But honestly, like social media presence is like really big. That's how I built my clientele. And it's kind of how this whole thing started because I started a fitness page after like years of being like, oh, I don't want people to think I'm being this like fitness influencer or whatever, like that imposter syndrome. But like social media presence is huge, and like we talked about before, like marketing, and like getting yourself out there and like building connections with people because those people are going to end up being your clients. And I think just like being consistent. It's really hard because like I know how much it can suck to like post on social media and like be consistent with that, but being consistent and like showing what you got and like what you have to offer regularly, I think that makes a big difference. From the aspect of like from a business perspective, I mean, I'm just going to tell people to like just go for it. I strongly believe like we only have one life to live. Life is very short. You never know when it's your time. I don't want to be at the end of my life being like, damn, I really wish that I did all of those things. So I think it's worth taking the risk. I mean, even if you fail, like honestly, what's the worst thing that could happen? Like I'll use a gym as an example. Let's just say I opened my gym and it didn't end up working out. Like what would happen in that moment? Like, okay, I have to get out of my lease. I have to sell my gym equipment, which then I can make some profit back off of. But like, there's always a solution. So like, even if you did fail, like you could also figure that out too. But I think it's worth taking the risk to find out really.
If someone's like shy to get in front of the camera, which I think most people usually are.
100%. Yeah.
First of all, did you have that? Like, were you in the beginning, were you like a shy person?
It was a little different for me because when I was filming on social media, when I first started my page, it was COVID. So like I literally bought a camera and then I would go in my backyard and I would film a workout for every day of the week. And I would change, like I literally would change my outfits for like each day. So it didn't look like it was filmed on the same day. And I would just post the workout on like social media. So that isn't as hard because like that was something that I was interested in. I was just showing a workout. From the aspect of like when I have to like talk on screen, like I'm like pointing the camera to my face and I'm like talking, I do like 50 takes because I'm like, everyone hates like the sound of their own voice. They're like, oh my, like you just kind of like give yourself the ick in a way. You're like, yeah, and you get like imposter syndrome. But honestly, like the more you do it and the more you practice it, the more comfortable you get doing it. And the less that you care. Like the more that you care about what people think about you, the more you're going to like nitpick that apart. Where like now I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm just going to throw out my phone and I'm just going to say what I have to say and I'm just going to post it instead of being like, oh my God, I wish I said like XYZ differently or like whatever it may be. But I think the more you practice it, the easier it gets. But yes, of course, like there was plenty of times where I'm like, I don't want to have to do this, or like that's the main thing. I think talking on
100%.
Like on camera is the harder thing.
Yeah, I think I agree with you for sure. Like I also same thing. Like the first time I ever filmed a video,
You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, like, it was so weird and I nitpicked every little thing.
Right?
But yeah, now I'm a little bit better at just like
Just
whatever.
who cares, honestly? Like if
Most people aren't even doing that.
like
place.
you're putting yourself out there, like, and people you actually usually pretty much they like it. So like people actually like be like, hey, can you do more of those? And it's like, oh, okay, like it's not as bad as you think it's gonna be.
100%,
So
how do you deal with the competition in the gym world?
yeah, it's basically like running two businesses essentially, like my personal training business and then like running the gym. I don't really see other gyms as my competition. We have a very like unique niche when it comes to like our facility being women's only. So like I don't really look at other gyms as competition, and I feel like the industry, like when it comes to fitness, is just like it can be quite toxic. I feel like there should be more community when it comes to the gyms in London. But yeah, I don't view gyms as like competition. I say this all the time. Like I think there's enough people in London. It's growing so fast. There's so many people in London, like for all of us to be successful, like, and that's what I want. Like I want every gym to be successful, not just like specifically gyms, but like anyone who's trying to like run a business. Like I wish everyone well. Like I've gone to other gyms and I've done workouts at their gyms. Yeah, it really doesn't bother me. And like, I'm always here to like support other people, even if it's like in my own industry.
What's one thing that you got like an idea from, for example, like have you worked at a different gym, you're like, oh shit, like that would be a good idea?
Um, when I worked at the other gym, like before I opened my spaces, when I worked at the 2 like private gyms that I was at before,
Yeah.
I learned a lot of things that like I didn't like. So like
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense
so
as well.
I'm
Yeah.
learning so much because I was like, I don't like this could be different.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot that way. But sometimes, yes, like if you like I follow a lot of the gyms like on social media. Sometimes I see an idea and I'm like, oh, that's a lovely idea. I'd like to run something similar at the gym. Like it could be like a promotion or like a specific class maybe that they did. But yeah, I think people are very creative and like you're not going to think of every single thing that could work. So yeah, I've definitely like seen them post about certain things and I'm like, yeah, it's a fantastic idea. Like let's figure out how we can like implement that at BFitness.
What has there been like a pivotal moment in your business? Yeah, what is that? Tell us again.
There's 2. So like the pivotal moment, the first one was when I opened my first location and I didn't make it women's only at first. And the reason for that was because my boss at my previous location, he had said when I had this idea a long time ago, and he was like, "Oh, it's not a good idea. Like you're just looking at one demographic. Like I've owned multiple gyms, blah 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 blah." So obviously that's in the back of your head when you have a business idea. So when I opened that location, I made it co-ed. So like my husband would come work out. Like I trained one of my clients with like her husband, and I like it just kept like eating away at me and I was like I felt compelled like to do it. And so after like I don't know how long it was, but it was like a short period of time. I was like I need to make it women's only. And once I made that decision, that's kind of when everything changed. And it really made me realize how much there is actually a need for a women's only space when it comes to the fitness industry.
Of course, yeah.
And 2, like, that's just kind of where when the gym blossomed, like, it grew really quickly from that moment of making that decision and, like, just sticking with your gut, like, well, my gut, and deciding that that's just what we were gonna do. So that was very, like, pivotal, like, that's when it really grew. And then, obviously, like, there's always going to be, like, a negative side or, like, a negative thing, I guess, that happens. Like, it's not all positive and lovely. But yeah, like we ended up committing to a space like when we were looking for new spaces. And it's a really long story, but essentially like we committed to a space and we ended up having to back out. Like it just didn't align well with us. There's so many other reasons like that I'm not even going to get into. But we ended up backing out of that space. We had done so much work on it and we had like set up our open house. I sold all the founders memberships. So making that decision like obviously did not come lightly and it's like it's not black and white. There's like so much to it, so many layers to it. But at the end of the day, like I'm always going to stick with what I feel is right, even if that means like making that difficult decision. And at that time, that was like very, very difficult because one, we didn't have a space. We had everything set up like as if we did. Like I had to put all my equipment in storage. And it was like a few months before we ended up finding our space. Like that was the beginning of the year. We didn't get into our new space until May 1st. We worked on it for a couple months prior, but it was like a rough couple months where like I didn't know when we were going to find a space. Like we'd go look at a space and I'm like, oh, this could work. And then I was like, oh, there's a clause in this lease, like winners. And I was like, you can't make any more than something decibels of sound. And I'm like, it was just like, it's funny to think about now. Like it's quite humorous because I'm like, that is so stupid. But like at the time it was like so defeating because like I literally was like breaking down crying because I'm like, there's people who depend on me, like my trainers. We didn't have coaches at the time, like class coaches, but my trainers depend on me. And I'm like, it just feels like, and people had memberships. So I felt like I was letting a lot of people down. So that was really, really challenging. But hindsight, like looking at it now, I'm like, thank God that happened because the space that we found now is like so much better. And I'm just like, I'm very content with where we are. So like, definitely like, very challenging time at the beginning of the year last year, but like once we got into that new space, it just like flourished again.
And now I'm assuming trusting your gut is probably one of the biggest things that you ever recommend to people.
Yeah, I'm like very true to myself. Like I don't pitter patter like around things. Like I'm very straightforward. I'm pretty blunt. But when it comes to like my business, like that is my pride and joy. Like that is my baby. I've invested so much of my time, my sweat, blood, tears,
Yeah.
money. And like I'm not gonna mess around when it comes to that. So
You're the first gym owner or personal trainer that I've interviewed. So I actually
oh cool.
am very curious to know, when you were starting your business, were you still really consistent with working out and caring about your
That's
health
actually
and wellness?
that's such a good question because no.
Yeah.
No, I was not. So, like, when you exert so much energy into building something, like, we didn't have contractors. We did everything ourselves between my dad, my mom, my husband, and me. And then, like, the trainers helped us move things. And, like, there was, like, the odd, like, help here and there.
Yeah.
When you are putting so much energy, like you're in your rush to like we had 2 months working period to get our gym together.
Yeah.
And it's not a long time when you have such a big space. But when you're investing so much energy into like getting it done, like you don't really invest energy into yourself at that
Yeah.
time. And like it's not great. Like you probably should have, probably would have helped. But like you're so tired, you're like, it's the last thing I want to do. But then too, like from the fitness industry, like aside from opening a business, like when you're so focused on taking care of other people in your everyday life, like training people, but you're also like their therapist and like you're putting on this great face because like you want to give your clients a great session, even when you're having a crappy day or whatever it may be, or whatever you might be dealing with like in your life, you have to show up to work and like give your clients the best sessions.
Yeah.
And then like they pour a lot of stuff onto you, which like can be mentally draining. So like sometimes you're like at the end of the day, you're like, I don't want to be here. I want to go home. Like I want to relax. And like it can impact like your relationships too, because it's like I go home and I'm like, I literally have been talking to people all day. Like the last thing I want to do is like talk any longer. Which I do realize. But yeah, like it is hard. Like you would think like as a trainer, you'd be like, yeah, so easy to work out all the time, like
Yeah.
lifting 17 times a week. No, it's like
Yeah.
it's a struggle for a lot of us. And we talk about it like regularly. It's just like sometimes it's just so hard to like take care of yourself while taking care of like so many other people.
Now in hindsight, do you think if you were consistent with that, would it have made you better at the time? I can't imagine it would have. Again, I can imagine
Maybe.
it's so mentally draining.
It could have helped maybe like feel a little bit better, but then maybe it could have dug you in a deeper hole,
Yeah.
like be more into burnout. Like
How
I don't
important
know.
is it to you now? Like, how important is mental and physical health?
Like, I've been dealing with so much the last year since opening the gym. And like, I've been dealing with like my physical health. And like, I just recently got diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, like like a couple weeks ago. So like, I have rheumatoid arthritis, which like basically is your immune system like attacking your own joints.
Yeah.
So like, we're trying to figure out medication that works for me right now. Like, we're in the middle of it. But like, I've dealt with like wrist pain for like since I opened the gym, and like it's progressively been getting worse. And I actually haven't like talked about this online or anything, or really to a lot of people because it's
Yeah.
like fairly new.
course.
But like it essentially feels like the best way I can describe it is like it feels like my joints are broken, like my bone. It feels like your bones are broken,
Yeah.
or like and you're trying to function in your everyday life while you have what feels like broken bones, especially in your wrists when you do like everything with your hands, especially in my line of work. Like it has been a really, really big struggle for me lately. And that's impacted my, like, obviously working out. And then, like, mentally, it's affected me so much. Like, I had to go on antidepressants because, like, it has just mentally taken a toll on me. But I'm very much so like, let's deal with this and take care of this. Like, I don't want to continue feeling this way. So, like, I'm just going to figure out, like, what I need to do to get out of that. So, and like I'm very open, like that's why I'm like I don't care to talk about being on antidepressants. Like it has just mentally taken a really tough toll on me. So basically like the last 2 weeks I was in a really bad flare. So like I wasn't working out. But now like I found some meds until my other meds kick in that have kind of helped the last 2 days. That's why like I'm moving freely and it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But mental health and like physical health is always going to be important to me. It's just like I used to be so rough on myself to be like, no, you still got to do it. Like, you got to push through. But like, and I'm a pretty tough person. Like, I can grit through a lot. The joint pain has been wiping me out. So honestly, like, I just started getting back into like my workout routine.
Yeah.
I did like 3 or 4 workouts last week, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe I just started at the end of this week. last week. Where are we? Are we on the weekend? Yeah, we are. Oh my God. Okay, I think I did a
At
few.
some point.
Yeah, I don't know what day it is. That's typical. But yeah, I did a few workouts this week to start to get back into it. So now I'm gonna try and get back into that like consistent routine again.
As an entrepreneur, are there any habits that you've implemented that has kind of like helped you a lot through the business and just through your life in general?
Delegation.
Yeah, that's always a good one.
Yeah, like everyone's like, you need to delegate, you need to delegate. I'm like, I just don't want other people, like I want things done how I want them done. And like, and it's just I've had to like let things go, and like I have like an assistant that helps me with a lot of stuff. Shout out to Maya. And I hired someone, like one of my coaches, she took on like a management role for classes.
Cool.
Shout out to Emily. And they helped me a lot, get a lot of stuff done.
Yeah.
So I think like learning to ask for help and like understanding that like maybe if it's not done the exact way, like maybe like it's that open line of communication and like communicating that so that you're on the same page. But honestly, the delegation has helped like so much.
Yeah.
Gives you a little bit more
Yeah.
time back, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now I know you have like the financial story that you told me. I think would put most people into a coma, like the way you were talking about it. It's a crazy. But you took a huge risk. How did that financial struggle really impact you early on?
Do you want me to like tell them about like how I started? Like
It's up to you. It's completely.
yeah, I don't mind. So essentially when we moved into our space, our first and last was like $22,000.
Yeah.
And when we had our previous space, like my focus was to pay off the debt from that space, and that's what I did. So we didn't have money saved up after like opening our first location, and so like $22,000, I'm like, I got like $3,000. I'm like, take it or leave it. No, so I'm like, I need to figure out how to make this work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta call the bank. I'm like, I gotta see what I can do here. So I end up calling the bank, and then they end up giving me $10,000 of overdraft, a $5,000 line of credit, and a $5,000 credit card. I'm like, all right, we're just gonna send it. We're sending it. So I literally went $10,000 into overdraft to open BFitness, so everyone knows. Yeah, probably not like the most ideal way to open something. We ended up getting like a line of credit or like a loan for the gym equipment, which was also another thing I was stressing about. So that ended up working for us.
Yeah.
And then I borrowed money from my dad, like a line of credit from my dad that I'm currently paying back. But it's not like I had like my parents would be like, yeah, like, can you give me $100,000 so I can open this?
Which I think the main reason I think I like to bring up that question is I think people think business owners just instantly 100, like you're getting a big loan from like your parents or receiving millions of dollars.
And like, sure, some people do, but
Yeah.
which is great. Good for you.
I wish a lot of people know that the average entrepreneur takes on a huge risk. And again,
Yeah.
we're going to talk a little more about like they take on a huge risk, like a huge financial risk early on.
100%.
That a lot of people don't understand and don't realize.
Yeah.
So that's why I like to highlight these type of
Yeah.
conversations.
Yeah. And of course, like if you have those resources, like your parents can give you the money, that's awesome. And like I'm so happy for you, honestly, because like that just makes it a lot easier. But that was not my case. So like I said, yeah, I borrowed $30,000 from a line of credit for my dad. It's not like he was like, oh, I'll pay you half of it. No, like I'm paying the full thing back. So like I am paying that back. But yeah, like we went $10,000 into overdraft and like racked our credit cards up. Well, mine and like the ones that I got.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? I just believe it. Like, I believe in BFitness so much and the need for women's space in fitness. And I also believe in myself so much.
Yeah.
Like, I know how hard I work. Like, I mean, my husband sees how hard I work because he's the only one that sees me at home when I'm like on my computer all the time or like on my phone doing what I need to do. But I was like, I just believe that this is going to work out and I'm going to make this money back. And in our first month, like we made enough money to, one, get out of the overdraft and two, pay our rent without going into overdraft again. So it ended up working out. So it was great. Thank you.
How do you deal with that stress?
I'm like a laid back person. I'm like,
Oh, okay.
I don't like, I get stressed about like when there's so many tasks to do, like stuff like that. But when it comes to money, I'm just like, money comes and goes. That's my mentality. I'm like, money's meant to be spent. Like it will come back, especially when you work hard.
Yeah.
My husband's the opposite. So like he stresses a little bit more about money. So like we're the complete opposites.
Dynamic job.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So like, I'm just kind of like, I'm just going to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I don't actually stress about money because I'm like, I work hard and I'm just going to figure it out. But like, yeah, when it comes to like tasks and stuff, that's when I'm like, yeah, I'm stressed.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I usually like to end off with, what's your why? What's your drive? Like what drives you on?
Money. I'm just kidding. No, honestly, I feel like people are weird about money. Like people don't like to talk about money and that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
like I like making money and like I like to be more open about making money. Like
Yeah.
I enjoy making money and figuring out like different ways to make money. But my like real reason why would be women need a safe space in the fitness industry. Like all the women who like want to show up for themselves and take care of their mental, physical health, whatever reason they may be in the gym, I want to have that space for them. Like all the women is like, that's my reason why, like it's the women. But also too, like there's so many aspects to that. There's so many layers, but like my family too, like my family is my why. Like I want to provide a great life for all my kids. Like I want to provide a life where like we don't have to stress about money and like we can do the things that we want to do and enjoy life because like life's meant to be enjoyed. So like there's definitely a lot of layers when it comes to my why, but like ultimately it's like for the girls. Like I'm here for the girls. I want everyone to be comfortable, happy and healthy, and then obviously my family and like to be financially free.
What will that allow you to do that you really want to do?
That's a really good question. I eventually would like to get out of personal training. Maybe not fully. I'm not really sure. I'm kind of like figuring it out, but I would like to kind of take a step back from personal training. I do like doing the behind the scenes stuff in the business. I do really enjoy that. I like going out to the community and stuff. So, but it's hard when you like work like so many hours doing personal training. So the goal would definitely be get out of personal training, focus more on like that she means business. Like I love doing that kind of stuff. Like the things that I find really enjoyable, I would love to get more into. And like, so that would be making the gym more efficient where I can take that step back. It's just not there right now. So that is a goal that I do have.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. Honestly, I guess I think I told you this before. I think you're very relatable. And I think that's why your clients probably appreciate you as much as they do. You have a very good story. And I think most people actually start off in a similar way that you did.
Definitely.
So I'm glad you're able to share your journey and kind of like how business has been treating you so far.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. And we will see you on the next episode of the Founders Path. Take care. And then
Yay, that was so good.